So UFC 321 just wrapped up, and in this video, I will be recapping the entire event, and I will be breaking down and giving my thoughts on every single fight that happened, man. Wow. I was really looking forward to this event, man. I was excited to see Tom Aspinall go out there and defend his title against the biggest test in his career against Ciryl Gane. And we don't get the answers we were looking for. After Ciryl Gane pokes Tom Aspinall in the eyes, and we now have a no contest, man. Absolutely horrible. And the UFC showed the eye pokes in slow motion, and they look brutal, man. They looked absolutely horrible. Ciryl Gane threw a kick, stuck his hand out there. The eyes raked right into Tom Aspinall's eyes, man. And now we have a no contest. Just sucks, man. Absolutely sucks. I hope Tom Aspinall is all right, man. So in this video, we're going to discuss the main event, the eye poke situation, what happened, and then also what was playing out in the fight before the eye pokes occurred, right? And then we're going to go through all the other fights on the card because we had some amazing fights, man. Like the co-main event, Mackenzie, Dern versus Virna, Jandiroba. WMMA gets a lot of crap, man. I thought that was an absolute scrap between those two, man. I thought that was one of the more entertaining WMMA title fights that we have seen in quite some time. And then we just had some insane performances on this card as well, man. So obviously the mood is very damp right now because of what happened in the main event. So without further ado, let's hop right into this, man, and talk about Thomas Paul Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane. Well, obviously, that's not what we want to happen, right? And I hope that Tom Aspinall is all right, man, because I feel like as fight fans, everyone's gotten so accustomed to, it's an eye poke, right? The referee will come in, hand them a little rag, they'll, pat their eye, and, they got 5 minutes, right? They kind of, move back and forth, rub out their eye, blink it out, and then they're ready to go. But then there's the dark side of the eye pokes, where when you get brutally poked in the eyeball, fights get stopped. Bad things happen, man. Getting poked in the eye is absolutely horrific. It's horrible, right? Bad things can come from that, right? And so you never like to see this. This is a horrible thing, man. And I just hope that Tom Aspinall is all right, man. I really hope that he's okay. And, so we get the no contest here. And this fight was looking ultra competitive up until the eye pokes, man, right? And a lot of the, narratives coming into this was Tom Aspinall is just going to go out there and he's going to steamroll Ciryl Gane. Like that felt like that was the universal expectation for Tom Aspinall coming into this fight, right? And that's what I said coming into this. That everyone, especially John Jones, was going to be sitting back with bated breath, waiting to react and see how Tom dealt with the toughest fight of his career, that is Ciryl Gane. And it was looking really competitive, man. It was looking very competitive. Aspinall was laying some good shots on the feet with his hands, landing some good kicks, right? But Ciryl Gane stuffed the takedown. The first takedown attempt from Tom Aspinall and the only, Ciryl Gane shucked it off no problem, man. And Gane was sticking and moving, landing some good kicks, was busting him up with the jab, had that nose busted up, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. It was a very competitive fight, man. It was a good back and forth, and then unfortunately the eye poke situation happens. Ciryl Gane's apologizing, and Tom Aspinall's frustrated because obviously he got poked in the damn eyeballs. I mean, it's a miserable thing, man, and it just sucks, dude. It absolutely sucks. We were all so hyped up to see how this was going to play out. Tom Aspinall had been sidelined for so long. The John Jones saga was done. It was over. It's over, man, and it just feels like this whole thing just continues to linger on, man. And there's going to be people out there saying Tom Aspinall was looking for a way out. He was looking for a way out because the fight was competitive. Those eye pokes, man, because it was Ciryl Gane stuck his hand out there and raked down into the eyes of Tom Aspinall was brutal. You saw the slow-mo, man, when the UFC cut the slow-mo replay, man. Absolutely brutal. Ciryl Gane is the one that poked Tom Aspinall. People are out here blaming Tom. He's the one that got poked, dog. It's absolutely ridiculous, man. I hope Tom Aspinall is okay. Absolutely brutal, man. And it was a very good first round. It was very competitive. Aspinall was having some moments. Gane was having his moments. Gane was picking and poking with the jab, moving well, sliding in and out of range, avoiding the big power shots of Tom Aspinall. And it just felt like we were getting into the fight. It was like, man, Tom's not just running him over. Ciryl Gane standing his base. Stand your base, right? He was moving forward. He was putting that pressure on Tom Aspinall, putting him on the back foot, was jabbing him up, busted up the nose a little bit. affecting the breathing, presumably, of Tom Aspinall. I was like, whoa, man, we got a fight on our hands. We got a fight here. Right? It looks like we're going to see Tom Aspinall have to go past the first round. And then Ciryl Gane, we know he starts to turn it up as the fight starts to play out. It felt like we were settling into the fight, man, and then this happens. Absolutely anticlimactic, man. And like I said, this card was really good, and then to have this happen, it just absolutely sucks. I hope Tom Aspinall is okay. Ciryl Gane going out there doing the eye poking. It just sucks, man. This absolutely sucks. Tom Aspinall sidelined all that time because of the whole Jon Jones ordeal, right? We finally get him on the books against Ciryl Gane. Defends the title. I count that as a title defense against Curtis Blaydes. That was at UFC 304. We had to wait all this time for Aspinall to come back and to go out there and get eye poked in the first round and have the damn thing stopped. It's horrible, man. Absolutely horrible. But what we saw was a very competitive fight while it lasted, up until the eye pokes. It was competitive, man. Aspinall shot that takedown. Ciryl Gane was completely prepared for it, shucked it off, and he was landing some good shots on the feet, was landing some good kicks, was picking and poking with the jab. Tom Aspinall was throwing some big shots, man. It was a very competitive first round. So when a lot of us were out here saying, listen, man, Tom's just going to run him over, Ciryl Gane showed up, dog. He showed up in tremendous shape. Obviously took this challenge very, very seriously. And Tom Aspinall, he kept saying all week, like, I know the challenge on my hands. A lot of people were counting out Gane, man. A lot of people were counting him out, and Ciryl Gane clearly showed up ready to rock and roll in this fight. And then the damn eye pokes, man. Got to keep your damn hands closed, dude. Threw the kick out there, extended the hand. This sucks, man. Absolutely sucks. And the obvious next thing to do is obviously, hopefully Tom Aspinall is okay, because whenever you get poked really bad in the eyeball, like, we're going to have to see kind of how, hopefully he's all right, man. Like, people are just like, oh yeah, book the fight in December. It's like, we need to see if Tom Aspinall is okay first, man. But the obvious thing to do is get this thing rebooked. Do the rematch, right? This is such a bad situation, man. Horrible, horrible thing here. It just sucks, dude. Absolutely sucks. I was so looking forward to this, man. I was buzzing, man. The energy, right? And the fact that Gane was in there, he was ready. He was rocking and rolling. This was a competitive fight. It felt like we were just getting into it, where we're like, whoa, Tom's going to have to deal with some adversity here, man. It feels like he's really going to have to dig deep in here, and he's going to have to find that shot. He's going to get drug into, maybe some of those championship rounds, and then the eye pokes. And then the eye pokes, man. I'm just curious, hopefully the UFC goes ahead and rebooks this down the line, and I'm going to be curious to see kind of what people's thoughts and approach is next time around when this fight gets rebooked, because I feel like a lot of people that were dismissing Ciryl Gane, maybe that won't necessarily be the case next time, because what we were seeing up until the eye pokes was a competitive fight, man. Both guys look good. Tom Aspinall was getting busted up by the jab. Aspinall was landing some good kicks of his own. Ciryl Gane clearly prepared for the takedown of Tom Aspinall, shucked it off, no problem. It was getting interesting, man. Just as it was getting interesting, this happens, man. Absolutely sucks. I hope Tom Aspinall is okay. Ciryl Gane apologizes on the microphone. Man, I don't know what else to say, man. It just absolutely sucks. And you hate to see it, man. And people were booing Tom Aspinall in the arena like it's his fault, man. He's not the one that poked him in the eyes, man. Absolutely crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. Hopefully the UFC will rebook this thing. Hopefully Tom Aspinall is all right, and then we can get this back on the books and get some clarity on this matchup, man. There was so much hype coming into this. I know people were saying, oh, that doesn't feel like there's a big fight feel here. The minute these two stepped into the octagon, it brought out that nervous championship energy. I was nervous. I was shaking. And to see Gane show up and go out there, and he was right in there with Tom Aspinall. When it felt like Aspinall coming in, it was like, he's just going to run over Gane. That was not happening. It was not happening. Then we get the eye pokes. Hopefully we could get this thing back on the books, man. What an awful way for this to go down. Hopefully Tom Aspinall is okay, man. Serious eye pokes are obviously no joke, man. Sucks, dog. Absolutely sucks, man. All right. Virna Jandiroba versus Mackenzie Dern. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I thought that this was one of the better WMMA fights that we have seen in a while, especially when it comes to WMMA title fights, right? We've seen a lot of snoozers, right? We just saw a week ago in Vancouver, Manon Fiorot went out there and knocked out Jasmine Jasdavicius, right? One of the things that I've been saying in WMMA that you can count on with Mackenzie Dern is, look, everyone's like, it's the cheeks, dog. That's why the UFC's pushing her, the way she looks and all this and that, and we understand that. But at the end of the day, like, name a boring Mackenzie Dern fight. She shows up and balls out in every fight. Whether she wins or loses, she shows up to scrap, man. Her ground game in terms of the jiu-jitsu department it is very high level. She's very good there. She does lack when it comes to the wrestling. We saw that in this fight. But her striking is getting better and better and better. Defensively, she's not particularly good. But offensively, I mean, she just throws things out there, right? She's popping the jab, throwing the right hand behind it, sprinkling in some kicks. And that's why I picked her to win this fight. I picked Mackenzie Dern to go out there and win a decision. And that's what happened, man. And for exactly what I anticipated. Look, people are like, well, Virna Jandiroba, right? She's beating the people that Mackenzie Dern is losing to. And according to MMA math, Virna should go out there and beat Mackenzie Dern. And I went, no, man. MMA math, 2 + 2 = 5 a lot of the time, right? Stylistically, this was a very good matchup for Mackenzie Dern. It was, because Mackenzie Dern is better than Virna Jandiroba in every department except for the wrestling, in my opinion. I feel like her jiu-jitsu, maybe it cancels out, right? I feel like Dern still has the edge there, but let's just say it cancels out. Jandiroba has the wrestling advantage, a little bit of a strength advantage, I say, but on the feet, Mackenzie Dern's got the output. She outstruck her, right? From as long as these total strikes are correct on the website here, she was landing a lot of good shots, man. You know, stinging Virna with the jab, landing a good right hand behind it, mixing in some of those kicks, man. And that's the thing about Mackenzie Dern is she's scrappy. She's absolutely scrappy. And every single time that she shows up, man, she's going to go out there and she's just going to, you know, scrap, man. And that's why I like watching Mackenzie Dern fight. She brings it every single time. That's why I picked her to win this fight. I thought stylistically, yes, she was going to get taken down by Jandiroba, but Jandiroba didn't do a lot with the takedowns. She was basically just kind of laying on her, right? Trying to control her. Mackenzie Dern was being very active off of her back, trying to, you know, find those transitions, look for those submission opportunities, was landing some good shots off of her back as well. This was a very good performance by Mackenzie Dern because Virna Jandiroba, a lot of people were high on her. I was high on her. Right, I picked Virna Jandiroba to win a lot of her fights, man. She was on a crazy win streak. But now that is 2-0 Mackenzie Dern over Virna Jandiroba. She beat her the first time, right? They both had made a lot of improvements. I just felt like the X factor in this fight was the improvements in the striking of Mackenzie Dern, man. They've improved leaps and bounds throughout her career. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's a lot better than when she first started. That's for damn sure, man. And I felt like stylistically, this was, if Mackenzie Dern was ever going to win the UFC title, it was this fight. Stylistically, this was a very, very good matchup for her. The only department that Virna had the advantage to me coming in was the wrestling. And that's kind of what we saw. She was able to take her down, it says 9 times here. Right, Mackenzie Dern was threatening off of her back a little bit. I was worried that maybe Dern would spend too much time on bottom because she does like to play, you know, that bottom, you know, player jiu-jitsu game. She wasn't really waiting to do that in this fight. She had urgency to try to get back up, push Virna off of her, get back to the feet. And with Jason Perillo, man, he did a great job in the corner of Mackenzie Dern, right? I've criticized him before, the way he cornered, you know, Chito Vera at times, right? Especially in the O'Malley fight. It's kind of delusional. Not this time. He was like, just be busy. Just be busy. You just got to touch, throw things out there. She throws one, we throw 2, 3. It's a points game. Go out there and pick her apart, man. And that is exactly what Dern did. Because with Virna Jandiroba, she can finish you on the ground, but on the feet, she's not really a threat. She loads up on her shots. Mackenzie Dern, it was an outstanding performance, man. She had the championship experience, having been in 5-round fights before. Great performance by Mackenzie Dern, man. I picked her to win this fight for exactly the reason that we saw in this fight. She was busy on the feet. Her ground game was good enough to not get dominated by Virna on the ground, which is where Virna has had those, you know, advantages over her past opponents. Styles make fights. This was the perfect example. Massive win for Mackenzie Dern, man. I'm really happy for her to go out there and get the job done. She's just more than the looks, dog. You know what I'm saying? She's a very skilled fighter, and she's made a lot of improvements throughout her career. Now, I will say this. If that was Zhang Weili in there against Mackenzie Dern, Zhang Weili would have beat the brakes off Mackenzie Dern. So, again, this is one of those scenarios of where styles make fights. We often see that. Very impressive performance by Mackenzie Dern to get it done over a very game Virna Jandiroba, man. Okay, Umar Nurmagomedov versus Mario Bautista. This fight went pretty much exactly how I was anticipating. I expected Umar Nurmagomedov to win a convincing decision over Mario, but it would be a competitive fight to where we were sitting up here in my recap video like I am now, where it's like, that was a fun fight, man. The scrambles, the grappling, the shots on the feet. And it was, yes, a convincing win for Umar, but we saw competitiveness to it because Mario Bautista is that damn good, man. He's just that damn good. And what I can't stand is people are trying to play the game of, oh, well, that wasn't that impressive for Umar Nurmagomedov. He only beat what was Mario ranked? Number 9? Oh, he beat the number 9 ranked Mario Bautista. Mario Bautista, if you forget the rankings, just might be a top 5 skilled guy in this weight class, man. Mario Bautista is criminally underrated. He has been for a while. I picked him to beat Patchy Mix. A lot of people were picking Patchy to win that fight. Mario Bautista is incredibly game, man. Landed that nasty knee that hurt Umar Nurmagomedov. Had him in that little toe hook, in the first round. Like there were two hairy moments. And then outside of that, Umar Nurmagomedov controlled the fight, man. He absolutely did. He landed more ground and pound shots in the first minute of the first round than Jailton Almeida did in the entire 15 minutes that he had with Alexander Volkov. I can't wait to go off on Almeida in that one. But listen, man, Umar Nurmagomedov, he's better than just about everybody in this weight class, right? We've seen him in a very competitive fight against Merab Dvalishvili. That is the fight that I would love to see again at some point. It was one of the best bantamweight fights of all time, was Umar versus Merab. However, this fight, Umar displayed a high pace in this fight. I was actually very impressed by that because when you watch Mario Bautista, he's kind of the guy that's known for pushing the pace, moving forward, putting the volume out there, getting his boxing going, scrambling, getting back to his feet, controlling the range, and doing all those kinds of things like what we saw him do to Apache Mix. He's been on a crazy win streak for a reason, man. Mario Bautista, he's just, people just haven't put the respect on his name. Finally got a big opportunity. Like I said, he had earned an opportunity like this against Umar, but Umar just showed levels. That's what I said coming in is, where was Mario particularly better than Umar? Maybe the boxing, and that was it. Umar was a step ahead the entire time on the ground, right? And on the feet, the dynamic kicks and even the boxing of Umar looked good. He was slipping and sliding out of range really well, landing some good shots, right? And like I said, Mario had two moments here. I scored this 30-27 Umar. Right, in the second round, it got hairy, right? Because Mario landed that nasty knee that hurt Umar. And that's one thing I realized about Umar. Whenever he's southpaw, because he switches stances, he kind of dips that head off the center line, right? And goes towards his left. And Mario, that's how he was able to land the knee. And you saw him in round 3. That was good corner work. I'm sure they were telling him, hey, throw that high kick, man. That's something Umar's going to have to watch moving forward, man, right? Because we got Merab versus Jan coming up, right? So depending on when that happens, I think that, or what happens, I think that Merab will get that done, and maybe we get that big rematch between Umar and Merab. But I got to be honest, man, I'm just, with the improvements that we're seeing from Merab, I just don't know if Umar's able to get it done against him, man. I just feel like Merab kind of has that kryptonite type of style for a guy like Umar. I know it was very close the first time, and I picked Umar to win the first fight, but the fact that Merab is continuously improving as the champion, I feel like it's an incredibly hard fight for Umar, man. I just think it is. I feel like while Umar's better on the feet, we're now seeing Merab damn near knock out Sandhagen, submit Sean O'Malley. Like, it'd be one thing if Merab was the exact same guy, but the fact that we're seeing him constantly improve, he just feels like he's on a little bit of he's just on a roll right now, man. And in terms of a level, like, Merab is a step ahead of everybody. Umar's right there with him. But it's just at the end of the day, when they're close, while Umar might be more technical, have more of an arsenal, when it comes down to the pace and the cardio and the grit factor late in the fight, that's where Merab thrives, right? And Umar, he kind of fought that Merab kind of style where he was relentless, man. Absolutely relentless. It says here he got 11 takedowns, right? He was chasing the takedowns, man. He was landing on beautiful trips, right? Beautiful, getting to the lock, taking him down. I mean, this was a great performance by Umar Nurmagomedov, man. Was active on the ground. We saw, this was just a fun fight, man. Even though Umar was in control, Mario Bautista was scrambling around, trying to make things happen. Very, very good performance from Umar Nurmagomedov. In my opinion, like I've said this before, it's hard to look good against Mario Bautista, man. It's hard to look good against a guy like him because he's so good. He has the power. He's well-rounded. He pushes the pace. But I thought it was interesting how Umar was pushing the pace in this fight, man. I wish this was a 25-minute fight. That would have been great. But Umar Nurmagomedov goes out there, puts on a great performance, goes out there, dominates him on the ground, lands some good kicks at range. His boxing, once he started to kind of wear on Mario a little bit, I feel like Mario kind of slowed down just a smidge. Then we saw Umar start to open up with the hands, and he started to land some really good shots. So outside of the toe hook in the first round and that knee that Mario landed, which was a nasty knee, this was all Umar Nurmagomedov, man. I thought it was a very impressive performance to go out there and do that to a streaking red-hot Mario Bautista. I feel like Umar's waiting in the wings now, man. Like, maybe they have him fight another guy, in the top of the division. Maybe they have him. But who does he fight, right? O'Malley's coming off of a couple losses to Merab, right? Mario is a guy on a crazy win streak. Jan's now getting that title shot, which he's absolutely earned against Merab. Considering how competitive Umar and Merab was the first time, I feel like if Merab gets through Jan, that is the fight that is going to happen. And if Jan pulls it off, maybe they do Merab Jan 3, or Maybe they do Jan versus Umar Nurmagomedov. Going to be interesting to see how this thing plays out. But I feel like when you go out there and you win a dominant type of, it was a competitive fight, but dominant at the same time. But Umar, to do that to a guy like Mario Bautista, man, very, very impressive. I feel like Umar is probably waiting in the wings for the next title shot. If not, he'll fight another top guy in this weight class if he wants to stay busy, depending on how things shape out. Great performance by Umar. And again, Mario, he'll be back, man. Guy's super skilled. Alexander Volkov versus Jailton Almeida. People are crying robbery here. And I picked Alexander Volkov to win this fight. I thought that he would get a stoppage victory in this. I am happy that Alexander Volkov won this fight. It was not a robbery, man. And if you think that it was a robbery, it was a well-deserved robbery victory for Volkov because, one, he got robbed in his last fight against Ciryl Gane because he won that fight. And then now he is in a situation where we have Jailton Almeida, who is just such a disgrace to mixed martial arts, man, right? People want to criticize grapplers. If Jailton Almeida was out there taking down Volkov, landing a few ground and pound shots here and there, advancing positions, landing some elbows, posturing up, trying to do something, I wouldn't be saying what I'm saying in this video. I would have been like, oh, Almeida should have won the fight. The reason that Almeida did not win this fight is because Alexander Volkov was doing way more when it came to the damage and the strikes, dog. Almeida did absolutely nothing. He was just holding him down, literally holding him, doing nothing. People were criticizing Khamzat's performance over DDP. At least Khamzat was throwing knees. He was throwing little pitter-patter shots. Had DDP in the crucifix, was landing some shots, right? Almeida was throwing nothing, dog. Not a single thing. All he had to do was like pitter-patter ground and pound shots, and he didn't even do that. It's like, does this guy know that, like, in the UFC, is he aware that you could throw strikes? Like, I'm genuinely wondering, does Jailton Almeida know that you could throw strikes in the UFC? It's absolutely crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. I just kind of want the UFC to get rid of him, man. Just get rid of him, right? He goes out there and he's going to finish the lower level guys because they all make the same mistake. Jailton Almeida gets on top, they turtle over, they roll to their, to their belly, and then he gets the rear naked choke and submits them. That's pretty much what Jailton Almeida does most of the time. But when he's in there against good opposition like Derek Lewis, who's not particularly great on the ground, don't you remember when Jailton laid on Derek Lewis for 25 minutes in Brazil? It was an absolute disgrace, man. And now he goes out here against Alexander Volkov, really never threatened with a submission the whole time. Looked like he was trying to kind of get to an arm triangle. Volkov was defending, was trying to take the back. Volkov was defending. Off of his back, Volkov was active. He was landing shots. He landed far more strikes in this fight than Jailton Almeida. I understand that Almeida was controlling him on the ground, but he literally did nothing, man. And when you have a guy that is active, it's not like Volkov was just getting dominated, like, oh, he landed one shot on the feet and Almeida took him down and did nothing. And it's like, oh, well, Volkov landed one shot. And like, no, Almeida would have won the fight that way. But it was the fact that Volkov was out there being active off of his back. He was trying to land stuff, man. Almeida, how are you in these dominant grappling positions? How are you that good of a grappler and you don't throw any ground and pound whatsoever? Absolutely disgraceful, man. It's absolutely disgraceful. He's an elite athlete in this weight class, man. He fights like a Khamzat or a Khabib or one of those guys in this weight class, man. The way that he took down Volkov every single time he wanted to, basically. Super impressive. But to go out there and consistently do nothing on the ground when it comes to the ground and pound or anything is flat out embarrassing. He needs to get a new team or something, maybe. Because the fact that they're not calling for ground and pound, shame on them as well. Absolutely abysmal performance by Jailton Almeida. I'm glad that Volkov won this fight because, yeah, I got my pick right. But it was disgraceful what Almeida was doing, man. Not even trying to do anything at all, man, whatsoever. Shout out to Alexander Volkov. I'm happy for the guy, right? He got robbed in the Gane fight, and the last time around, goes out here, gets this one done. I did not think that it was a robbery, man, considering that Almeida landed hardly any strikes, man. It was abysmal. Volkov was active off of his back. He got into a dominant position in round one, took round one. Round two, I think, was Almeida. Round three, or I can't remember off the top of my head. But one of those rounds, Volkov was being very, very active off of his back as well as he was most of the time. No issue with the judges giving this to Alexander Volkov. This is not a holding on the ground doing absolutely nothing. You have to throw something, man. This is fighting. Something. Whether it's little pitter-patter shots, raining down a few elbows, add the ground and pound element to your game. This is not just a straight flow grappling match. Embarrassing stuff from Jailton Almeida. Good for Alexander Volkov. I'm glad he's back in the win column. And hey, I thought that depending on what happened in the main event, maybe we were going to see Poatan move up and challenge for the heavyweight title. But now that it seems like we're going to have Aspinall and Gane run it back, I don't really know what goes on with Volkov, because he goes out here, gets this victory, maybe fights another top guy in the weight class, right? Maybe they kind of go that route. Maybe he draws an Ante Delia. Maybe they give him that. But again, Volkov going out there, getting this win. I'll be curious to see kind of what goes on in the heavyweight division moving forward for Volkov, because he goes out there and gets a very big win like this. Happy for Alexander Volkov. A well-deserved victory, man. Horrible stuff from Almeida, man. Alexander Rakic versus Azaamat Murzakanov. I picked Murzakanov to win this fight, and a lot of that was for what you saw in this fight, man. Azaamat Murzakanov, when you look at him, he's very underwhelming, right? When you look at him, he kind of looks like this dude that you would just see at the DMV or something, man. Like you come up to the window, whatever, just this nice guy that's there to help. And when he goes in there and fights, this guy is an absolute machine. And if you guys have been following the channel for a while, I did a Dark Horses video a while ago, right? It was probably over a year ago. And I said that Azaamat Murzakanov was the dark horse of the light heavyweight division. And that was prior to him really fighting any sort of valuable competition that people were going to consider valid in terms of assessing Murzakanov in this weight class. But I already saw what I needed to see, man. This guy on the feet moves like a lightweight. He moves incredibly well. He's constantly bouncing. You got to see his takedown defense was absolutely on point in this fight. And I expected that from Rakic. I expected a big, physical, strong Rakic, a guy that was going to be blasting kicks to the body, trying to set up that head kick, and I expected him to grapple. I expected him to come in and look to grapple. However, I didn't picture him having a lot of success. Azaamat's got that lower center of gravity, and by the way, people were picking Rakic and flopping around because, oh my God, look how big he is at the weigh-ins, man. He's towering over Murzakanov. Since when does that win fights? Since when does that win fights, man? And then for Murzakanov to go out there, and I was like, whoa, when he got knocked out. I didn't even know what the hell he hit him with. It was so fast and so short. And it was just a nasty, thudding, short, choppy jab right down the pipe by Murzakanov. And yeah, maybe that's a product of Rakic being a little chinny, having some miles on him. The way that I look at that, I attest to the fact that Azaamat Murzakanov's timing and thud is next level, man. The way that he landed that shot as soon as Rakic was kind of entering range, just a boom, a short, choppy, thudding jab, violent stuff from Murzakanov, man. And now he's definitely getting a top 5 guy. I feel like he's one more fight away from a title. One more fight away from a title. I could see him fighting Khalil Roundtree, fighting maybe a Magomed Ankalaev. Maybe they look to go that route. I don't know what they're going to do, but this guy's earned a top 5 guy. We got some murkiness to the top of the weight class. Depending on what Poatan does he move up? Right? Does he fight Jones? Does he fight at heavyweight? We don't know what's going on. We got Alberg, who's earned a title shot. Yuri's kind of in the title shot conversation. So some kind of murkiness going on there. I don't know, man, but this guy's earned a top 5 guy, man. 100%. He could defend the takedowns, and obviously all it takes is one shot. Rakic was looking good. He was. Landing some good kicks. Mixing in the grappling. Murzakanov defended well. And I feel like you kind of saw the discourage. You saw a discouraged Rakic, man, when you realize, oh, man, I'm not just going to be able to take this guy down and bank on my ground game here. Nasty stuff from Murzakanov, man. I'm not surprised from this guy whatsoever. I'm a little surprised that he got a KO that early. Very impressive stuff by Murzakanov, man. Got a good ground game. A little bit wild with the left hand on the feet, but all it takes is one shot from this guy. He's got the touch of death. He's got a thudding power. He's very fast the way he closes range. Love watching Azaamat Murzakanov fight, man. This guy moves like a lightweight in there, and he definitely has earned a huge top 5 fight next. Nobody does that to Alexander Rakic. I knew Yuri was able to finish him in round 2. Azaamat made that look smooth, man. Going out there and finishing him in round 1. Nobody does Rakic like that. Very impressive. All right, to the prelims. Nasrat Haqparast versus Quillian Salkilld. This is one of the nastiest head kick KOs we've ever seen, man. To go out there and do that to Nasrat, I was actually very impressed from Quillian Salkilld, obviously, because he was shooting these blind takedowns, and it was looking a little bit discouraging because with Haqparast, we know he was riding, I think, a 5-fight win streak coming in this, and he was looking pretty good, was moving well, was starting to get the boxing going, and then he even had his hand up, and boom, that right high kick wrapped right around the hand, right on the side of the head of Nasrat and put him down. Nasty, violent KO by Quillian Salkilld, man. And one of the things about Salkilld that I said was I thought he was going to have to grapple heavy in this fight to have success. And Nasrat was defending the takedowns well, but whenever you have the grappling edge, it puts a little bit of a different thought into the other guy's mind. And I feel like Quillian Salkilld was starting to kind of play that mental mix-up game with Nasrat. Like, am I going to grapple? Am I going to strike? And when you have a tall, rangy guy that does have some thud like Quillian Salkilld and those long limbs, if he can snap something up there that you just don't see coming, man, it can absolutely put you out. This is one of the more violent KOs that we have seen in quite some time. I hope Nasrat Hakparas is okay, because I say this all the time, man. We love seeing knockouts. I love seeing knockouts, but when there's scary stuff like that, that's pretty scary to see, man. Sensational performance by Quillian Salkilld. I love watching this guy fight. I thought that this was going to be a little bit too much too soon for him. I really did. On short notice here against a game guy in Hakparas, very impressive stuff by Quillian Salkilld, man. I wouldn't be surprised if they give him a back-end ranked guy in the division. He's looking like a problem, man. Got good grappling. The way that he was able to out-grapple a guy like Yanal Ashmuz, that showed me that his ground game is really good. Knocked out Anshul Jubilee, and then coming out here and KOing Hakparas with a violent head kick like that. Sheesh. Quillian Salkilld, man, that was fantastic, man. Great performance by Quillian Salkilld. I'm a fan. Ikram Aliskerov versus Junyoung Park. We're going to have a little bit of a harsh conversation here while talking about Ikram Aliskerov. I picked Ikram to win this fight. I absolutely picked him to win this fight, and I expected him to dominate this fight, and we kind of saw moments of that, right? He was able to land the takedowns, was able to control Park on the ground, was able to land the more damaging shots on the feet. But here's the reality of Ikram Aliskerov. He is not ready for the elite guys in this middleweight division. He just isn't, man. Like, even the guys towards the back end of the rankings, I just don't know that he's ready for, man. Like, we saw him start to fade in this fight. In round 3, the gas tank was a little bit of a problem. And I said in my breakdown, I'm like, listen, man, don't sleep on the Iron Turtle here, right? I know it can be a little underwhelming. You look at his resume, but remember, I thought he beat Andre Muniz. Right, and Junyoung Park is one of these guys. He got slick jiu-jitsu, nice little low kick, solid boxing, right? Doesn't really have the X factor when it comes to the danger, right? When it comes to the knockout power, at least. He's not going to out-grapple Ikram Aliskerov, right? That's not something we really expected. But the gas tank of Ikram is something of concern, man, right? And his only 2 losses in his career, where obviously we know before the UFC he got KO'd by Hamza, goes out there, was a deer in headlights against Whitaker. I picked Whitaker to dust him early because there was just levels when it came to the striking. Ikram's a good striker, right? And to go out there, and we got to see him have to dig deep. So we did get to see that side of Ikram Aliskerov. So I was impressed with what I saw. But I'm also alarmed, right? Seeing him start to slow down in these fights, and I get that this was kind of that big test here to a degree. I know Whitaker was the big test, but one where it's like, okay, we're not throwing him to the wolves like the Whitaker fight where he had to step in on short notice there. This was like a savvy guy in Junyoung Park who's got solid boxing, right? You can't sleep on him. He's a hard guy to put away outside of the RoboCop KO. Like, Park doesn't really get finished. This was a solid test for Ikram Aliskerov, man, but he's going to need to improve that gas tank, right? And it's crazy to me because normally a lot of the guys, right, I saw Khabib in his corner, right? So Khabib's been, training and working with him. The gas tank doesn't usually tend to be an issue, at least in a 3-round fight. And with Ikram, it seems to be a little bit of a problem, right? And he fought through the fatigue, right? Which is, again, very encouraging. Was able to get those takedowns, was able to control him on the ground, was landing the more damaging shots on the feet. It was a good performance by Ikram Aliskerov because Junyoung Park is solid, man. He's a very, very good guy. Like, you could throw him in there against some of these back-end ranked guys, and he can hang with him. Probably don't beat him, but he can hang with them. So I'm not super discouraged, but I am worried about the gas tank. That's what I will say. And this is a fight that kind of makes me sit back and go, okay, man, I'm not so sure about him against some of these guys in the middleweight division, especially at the top, not ready for the top 10, in my opinion, right now. But again, this was a step up here. I know the Whitaker fight was a step up. That was too big of a jump. This was a gradual increase here against a guy like Junyoung Park, who we've seen is a very respectable guy in this weight class. He's a tough out for a lot of people, man. Solid boxing, right? He was fighting a pretty good fight, but Aliskerov to dig deep, mix in the takedowns, fight through that fatigue. At least it looked like he was tired, right? And Khabib was like, you can't show the fatigue, man, or he's going to come out here and put the pressure on you, try to get you out of there. Ikram was landing some good kicks. His boxing looked on point. Mixed in the grappling. We got to see that from Ikram, which we haven't really gotten to see too much of in the UFC. I was impressed that he was able to dig through the adversity, some of the real adversity that we've seen from him inside the UFC. He got presented, with that by Park. Good win for Ikram Aliskerov. I figured he would be tested in this fight. good performance either way by Ikram, but it has me a little worried as he starts to climb the rankings in terms of the strength of schedule, man. I worry about that fatigue as he gets into some of those rounds, man. That was a good performance by Ikram, but has me a little bit worried moving forward. Ludovic Klein versus Mateusz Rebecki. First of all, what a savage performance by both guys, man. And especially Ludovic Klein going out there and destroying his foot, his ankle. I don't exactly remember what he destroyed there, but his foot was a mess, man. The way it bent back when, Rebecki was going through, for that takedown in round number 3. I had Ludovic Klein up 2-0 coming into round 3. And Ludovic Klein was just showing that precision on the feet, man. This guy is super fun to watch with the striking, that smooth bouncing in and out, the countering, the sharpness with the striking. That's where I figured that he was going to thrive in this fight. And he was comfortably, in my opinion, winning those first 2 rounds. And then the injury happened, and then he was stuck on bottom. And at that point, it was just a matter of surviving the ground and pound onslaught of a dangerous guy if he could get into the top position in Mateusz Rebecki. And we know that Rebecki's he's a dog, man. He's an absolute dog. Most of his fights since he's been in the UFC have been absolute wars, great performances, goes out there. You can never count the guy out. You're going to have to basically put him away, or otherwise he will continue to move forward. Good performance by Ludovic Klein, man. Fighting through the adversity there, hanging in there, and getting the victory. Savage performance by Ludovic Klein, man, to go out there and dog that out, fight through that, and make it through the 3rd round because he knew that he was up rounds 1 and 2. And again, Rebecki's a dog, man. Absolutely a dog. Came off of that war with Chris Duncan. I thought maybe it was a little bit too soon of a turnaround. He was out there doing some good things, especially in round 3, landing some nasty ground and pound where I was like, oh man, are we going to get a stoppage here? Good stuff in round 3 by Rebecki. And on the feet, man, Ludovic Klein is smooth. He's a smooth criminal on the feet, man. He's got the footwork, right? He got the good footwork, the good timing, the good rhythm. I like watching Ludovic Klein, man. I feel like this guy's really underrated in the weight class. Great win. Hopefully, I wish him a healthy and speedy recovery, man, because that looked pretty nasty when they showed it on the replay. Great win for Ludovic Klein dealing with the adversity. Valter Walker, Louis Sutherland. I mean, what else can we say about Valter Walker, man, right? He's ranked 15 coming into this, goes out there and gets his 4th heel hook in a row, man. Absolutely crazy. He's just got a skill advantage when it hits the ground against these blob heavyweights, right? And some of the guys he's fighting, like Kenny Nzechukwu, Louis Sutherland, right? Especially at Nzechukwu, right? He fought at 205, right? Louis Sutherland shown prior to the UFC, because this was his debut, he's shown that he's a little bit more than a blob, right? He was landing some good shots on the feet, right? We know that Valter Walker's not particularly good on the feet. His chin's up in the air. Well, not really up in the air, but his defense isn't particularly good. Very hittable, doesn't move his head. Was landing some decent leg kicks of his own, dodged a big right hand of Sutherland, takes him down. Kind of, I think, fooled Louis into like this false sense of, oh, I can get up, and then boom, snatched up that heel hook. Walked out to the ceremonial weigh-ins with that, the heel chain, man, with some blood on it. Is savage, man. Valter Walker's a savage. Guy's really good on the ground. Time to start testing him a little bit, though. I want to see him fight some real competition, some of the better guys in this heavyweight division. I feel like he's ready. That is 4 heel hook subs in a row, man. Incredibly impressive. I don't know that we'll ever see that again. Incredibly impressive stuff, man. This guy has mastered a specific technique that guys do not have an answer for, and especially in the heavyweight division, right? A lot of these guys, once you get to the top of the weight class, right, maybe you find a few guys here and there, like a Mario Pinto, whatever, they kind of have some skill on the ground. But a lot of the heavyweights, they're kind of just clueless and fish out of water on the ground. And Valter Walker is exploiting a lot of these ground games, man. And he has a technique that is masterful, and guys don't have an answer for it. Sensational performance by Valter Walker. And that post-fight interview, man, Chocolate Peppa Pig, or whatever he was saying, was absolutely, this guy's off his rocker, man. He's got a personality. He's fun. He's got the mustache shaved, right? 2-3 years Dagestan and forget. Valter Walker's a problem on the ground, man. Give him a real challenge now in the rankings, man. I like watching this guy fight. Nathaniel Wood versus Jose Miguel Delgado. I thought that this was a brutal robbery. And you guys know that I come up here and I say, look, close fights are not robberies. And this was a close fight. But to me, there's a difference between a close fight and then a really close fight, all right? I thought that Delgado convincingly won this fight. I thought that he clearly won round 1. I thought that he clearly won round 3. And then round 2, okay, you could give it to Nathaniel Wood, but I thought it was still close. I just don't know how Nathaniel Wood won this fight. And the thing that was so shocking to me about it was that all the judges, I think, scored this 29-28. They were all so convinced that Nathaniel Wood won. And I understand that. I don't think that the judges, they're just watching the fight. They don't get the stats and all that stuff, I'm pretty sure, right? But you see the stats here, and I'm pretty sure that this is accurate because I checked the ESPN stat sheet for this fight on the website. Jose Delgado outstruck Nathaniel Wood in this fight. He landed the more damaging shots. He was able to outstrike him. I understand Wood got 2 takedowns, but he didn't really do much with him. Delgado was moving and grooving, man. He was landing some devastating shots. I thought Delgado was robbed, man. I thought that this was a bad robbery, brutal robbery. I thought Delgado won this fight. I thought he did. Yeah, it was competitive and this and that, but I thought Delgado convincingly won, man. This kid's good. Either way, this kid is very good, man. I'm kind of counting this as a win, even though it's a loss. I mean, I'm picking Delgado. I said that I'm going to keep picking this guy until he shows me something where it's like, I don't know if he's ready. This kid's ready, man. Goes out there, on the Contender Series, gets the nasty KO. I was high on him coming over from LFA, saw him get a nasty KO there, and I'm like, I can't wait to see this guy in the UFC. KOs Connor Matthews, gets the KO over Hyder Emil, goes out there, damn near finishes and KOs Nathaniel Wood in round number 1, and then we just know Nathaniel Wood's a dog, man. And no shade on Nathaniel Wood. I love watching the guy fight. He's super technical, nice, clean boxing, good jab, good movement, nasty calf kick. Delgado was tested for sure, man, but I thought that he passed the test here. I thought that he definitely did enough to pass the test. Thought it was a robbery, man. Jose Delgado is very slick on the feet, switching stance as well, landing good knees, good kicks, solid boxing. His rhythm and timing is excellent. I thought it was a robbery. Like I said, happy for Wood because I do like watching Nathaniel Wood fight, but I just don't get it, man. Like Jose Delgado, future of the division in my opinion. He'll be back, man. To me, this was a victory. Bad decision by the judges. It was a great fight. This was one of the fights that I said that I was super excited to see because I figured that it would be a great back and forth. I thought Delgado definitely did enough to get this one done. Outstruck him and landed the more damaging shots. He even did some work on the ground as well. I just don't know how you could give this one to Nathaniel Wood, man. Hamdy Abdelwa Blob versus Chris Barnett. I should have picked Hamdy to win this fight, but the reason that I didn't pick Hamdy is because I have no confidence in Hamdy. And of course, he goes out there and fights how I anticipated Hamdy to fight in all of his UFC fights, which is to go out there and utilize your wrestling. And he actually had a gas tank in this fight, which is something that he hasn't had in any of his other fights. And this, make no mistake about it, this was an awful fight, man, to where I would cut both guys. I would get rid of both of them. Chris Barnett's out there. His shorts were struggling the whole time, man. His shorts had the ultimate battle going on. They're falling. His ass is hanging out. His crack's hanging out. Hamdy Abdelwahab. I mean, this was like 2 walruses blubbering up against each other, just blub, 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 bouncing off of each other. I mean, absolutely abysmal performance by both guys. Blobbering, slobbering going on in this fight, man. It was so, I mean, the bellies are going everywhere. The tits are bouncing. The fat's rolling around. It was horrible, man. This was a horrible fight. And the fact that Hamdy did not get a finish is crazy. Chris Barnett is with his ass up in the air. Shorts are falling down. Mark Goddard's having to say, pull your pants up, mate. That's where we were at with this fight. Barnett's crawling around, right, getting taken down, had no answer for the takedowns of Hamdy Abdelwahab, and that's how Hamdy should have fought all his other fights. And I guess we got to put some respect on Mo Usman's name. He's not as bad as I thought. I'm still calling him Hamdy Abdelwahab. I'm not impressed. I'm impressed that he dominated Barnett, but he should have gotten a finish. He should have gotten a finish. I was impressed that his gas tank looked pretty good in this fight, especially since he wrestled, because we've seen when he grapples, he normally, doesn't a lot of the time because he gasses himself out, and he did it in this fight. Dominated him. Landed a ton of ground and pound strikes. Right, was dominating him on the ground. Nasty elbow to the back of the head in round number 1. I thought that, Chris Barnett was maybe going to be like, nah, I can't go, man, and just take it, knowing that Hamdy was probably going to dominate him on the ground. Barnett ain't that good, but I just felt like, man, Hamdy Abdelwahab has not been impressive whatsoever. Neither guy has been. Blubbering walruses bouncing off of each other like blub, blub, blub. That was a funny main event to watch. Super low skill. Both guys absolutely suck. Just because Hamdy won this fight and just because I got the pick wrong does not mean that I will stop shitting on Hamdy Abdelwahab and Chris Barnett now as well. I don't know, man. Blub, blub, blub. Oh, man. All right, Azaamat Maxim versus Mitch Raposo. Great performance by Mitch Raposo. Azaamat Maxim looked like dog shit. He looked horrible in this fight, missed weight, came out there, right? And Mitch Raposo, part of it was he just looked that damn good. His footwork was on point. One of the reasons that Mitch Raposo was struggling to find success in the UFC, granted they were 2 split decision losses if I'm not mistaken. A lot of it felt like Mitch was a little bit hesitant to pull the trigger, where in this fight he wasn't at all. He was tagging Azaamat Maxim up on the feet relentlessly, man. Landing that right hand, getting the jab going. His boxing was crisp. It was clean. I felt like if he straightened out the right hand, he was going to be able to actually knock out Maxim in this fight, but his takedown defense was good. Maxim would take him down. He would scramble back to his feet. This was a much-needed win for Mitch Raposo, man, because if he didn't get this done, I feel like he would have found his way outside the UFC. Not only that, but I don't know that he would ever fight in the UFC again. And to go out there, show the evolution in his game, to show the improvements, sensational performance by Mitch Raposo, because Azaamat Maxim just was coming off of a performance to where he took Tagir Ulanbekov, even though he lost the fight. It was a pretty competitive fight. And I believe before that, it was Charles Johnson that Azaamat fought, right? So he's been fighting some good competition as well. Both guys have. I just figured that Maxim was going to utilize his range. And I mean, he just wasn't even fighting behind a jab. When you're the tall, rangy guy, you should be trying to use those long weapons and tools. He wasn't doing it. A lot of that had to do with the footwork and the rhythm of Mitch Raposo. Great performance by Mitch Raposo, man. He proved me wrong. It was a great performance. I'm looking at him quite a bit differently in this division, showing the improvements that we saw in this fight, man. He looked fantastic. Great win for Mitch Raposo. Last but not least, Jacqueline Amarim versus Mizuki. Get rid of Jacqueline Amarim, man. And I'm happy for Mizuki to go out there, and she was a huge underdog coming into this fight. She was landing damaging shots, man. And it's good to see, especially in WMMA, someone moving forward, looking to land damaging shots. She dominated this fight everywhere it went. She was landing, heavy shots on the feet, picking and poking, picking apart Jacqueline Amarim. She absolutely punked her, man. Absolutely dominated this fight. And I understand that Amarim is more of a ground specialist, but how in the world are you out there throwing these bullshit pitter-patter shots that are half-assed and have nothing behind them? Like, she's literally shadow boxing techniques out there while Mizuki is hitting her with shots. Like, why are you not trying to hurt her? I don't understand it. It was a god-awful performance from Jacqueline Amarim. She should just go to the UFC BJJ League or whatever. She looked absolutely horrible, man. Absolutely horrible. She's got nothing on the feet. Right, I thought Mizuki, right, kind of been a little inactive coming in. Maybe Amarim was going to be able to get her down. She was going to show levels on the ground. Not at all. Mizuki punked her in all aspects of MMA. Jacqueline looked horrible. Mizuki looked like a savage tonight, man. Damaging shots on the feet, moving forward, showing that she actually wanted to win this fight, where Amarim was out there essentially shadow boxing at an opponent who was trying to actually hurt her. Disgraceful performance by Jacqueline Amarim. I've seen enough of her in the UFC at this point, man. So again, unfortunate ending to what I thought was a really good card. Hopefully Tom Aspinall is okay, and we could get this fight back on the books after all that time of Tom Aspinall sitting on the sidelines. Now we get the big fight between him and Gane, and for it to end this way, brutal eye pokes. Absolutely sucks, man. But if you guys enjoyed this video, do me a favor. Please give it a like. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you do not miss an upload. I would appreciate it. See you next time.